You're doing everything right. Still broke. Why? Most millionaires share one hidden mental pattern. You've never been taught it. What if wealth isn't about working harder, but thinking in reverse? 3 questions separate the rich from the stuck. Can you answer them? By the end of this book, you'll rewire one algorithm. It changes everything. Why do lottery winners go bankrupt while immigrants build empires? What do millionaires see in problems that you see as obstacles? There's a mental sequence, 7 steps, that runs automatically in wealthy minds. You'll learn it today. It starts now. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you looked at your bank account and felt that tightness in your chest? That moment when you refresh the balance hoping the numbers changed? You're not alone. That feeling, that specific constriction, is your brain running an ancient program, a scarcity algorithm, and it's keeping you poor. Here's what nobody tells you. Your brain evolved to survive, not to thrive. Every time you see a price tag, your amygdala fires. That's the almond-shaped cluster of neurons designed to keep you safe from saber-toothed tigers. Except now it's firing at a gym membership, at a business course, at the very investments that would set you free. Your survival brain sees every dollar spent as one step closer to death. So you hoard, you save, you play it safe, and you stay exactly where you are. This is the scarcity trap. It has 3 parts. First, fear triggers short-term thinking. You can't see past next month because your brain is screaming about today. Second, short-term thinking causes you to miss opportunities. You say no to the investment, the partnership, the risk that would have paid off 10 times over. Third, missed opportunities create more fear. Your bank account stays small. Your brain says, see, I was right to be afraid, and the loop tightens. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. 2 people, same city, same salary, both making $47,000 a year at 25 years old. 10 years later, one has a net worth of negative $12,000. The other has $460,000. What happened? The first person ran the scarcity algorithm. Every raise went into a slightly nicer apartment. Every bonus bought a better car. When the market crashed, they had nothing to invest. When layoffs came, they had no backup income, the fear their brain promised to prevent. It created it. The second person ran a different program. Every raise stayed invisible. They kept living like they made $40,000. The extra $7,000 went into index funds. Then $12,000 when they got promoted. Then $20,000 when they switched jobs. When the market crashed, they bought more. When their company hired again, they had enough saved to take a risk on a startup. The startup gave them equity. The equity vested. At 35, they quit their job. Not because they were lucky, because they ran a different algorithm. Your brain right now is probably saying, but I can't afford to invest. I have bills, rent, debt. That voice? That's the scarcity program running. It sounds like logic. It feels like responsibility. But it's the same voice that kept your ancestors from leaving the cave. The same voice that kept them eating the same berries while others explored and found orchards. Here's the truth your brain doesn't want you to hear. Scarcity is often imagined. Not always. Not if you're genuinely struggling to eat. But for most people reading this, the scarcity is between your ears. You're running a mental program designed for a world that doesn't exist anymore, and it's bankrupting your future. Take a moment. Right now, close your eyes if you're somewhere safe. Take a breath in through your nose for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out through your mouth for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do that 3 times. As you breathe, notice where you feel tightness. Is it your chest? Your throat? Your stomach? That's where your scarcity program lives. Just notice it. Don't judge it. Just see it. When you open your eyes, you're going to learn how to rewrite it. The scarcity audit starts now. For the next 48 hours, every time you think or say, I can't afford that, write it down. Not in shame, in curiosity. Next to each one, write 2 letters. F or F, fear or fact. Fear means you technically could afford it, but your brain is stopping you. Maybe it's a book, a course, a healthier meal. Fact means you genuinely cannot pay for it without sacrificing something essential. Be honest. Most people find that 80% of their I can't afford that statements are fear, not fact. That's the scarcity algorithm talking. Once you see it, you can override it, but you can't fix what you can't see. Now let's talk about what replaces scarcity. Abundance isn't some woo-woo concept. It's not manifestation or vision boards. It's math. Cold, brutal, beautiful math. And millionaires are just people who learn to use a different calculator. Most people think in addition. I work an hour, I get paid. I work another hour, I get paid again. 1 + 1 + 1, linear, bounded, limited by time. Millionaires think in multiplication. They ask, what can I build once that pays me forever? What can I create that serves 1,000 people while I sleep? They're not smarter. They're not luckier. They're running different math. This is the 10x rule. Every time a millionaire looks at an opportunity, they ask, does this add or does this multiply? If it adds, they delegate it or delete it. If it multiplies, they obsess over it. Let me give you an example. You're offered a freelance gig, pays $2,000 for 20 hours of work. That's $100 an hour. Pretty good, right? A millionaire asks a different question. Does this create an asset? Can I turn this into a template, a system, a product? If yes, they take it. If no, they ask, who can I hire for $50 an hour to do this while I build something that scales? They're not being lazy. They're being mathematical. Their time is the scarcest resource. They spend it on things that multiply. Here's the shift you need to make. Stop thinking about income. Start thinking about equity. Income is what you get paid for showing up. Equity is what you own that grows without you. A salary is income. A rental property is equity. A freelance rate is income. A course you sell forever is equity. Every hour you trade for money is addition. Every hour you spend building an asset is multiplication. The $40,000 earner who retired at 38 didn't do it with a salary. They did it by converting every spare dollar into equity. Index funds that compound. A side business that grew. Rental income that stacked. Each one was a little multiplication machine. And they all ran while she slept. There's a question millionaires ask that stops most people cold. Does this multiply or add? Ask it about everything. Your job, your side hustle, your investments, your learning. If the answer is add, it's a trap. A comfortable, familiar, slow-motion trap. If the answer is multiply, you've found the algorithm. Now let's get more specific. Let's talk about the exact 7-step sequence that runs in every millionaire's brain. Most people don't see it because it happens fast, automatic, like breathing. But once you learn it, you can install it in yourself, and everything changes. Step 1. See the gap. Millionaires walk through the world like detectives. They notice what's missing, broken, or inefficient. You're annoyed by something. They see a business. You complain about a problem. They see a price tag attached to the solution. This isn't a personality trait. It's a trained skill. You can learn it. Start by asking, what frustrated me today? What took longer than it should? What made me think, why doesn't someone fix this? That frustration is a signal. It's pointing at a gap. And gaps are where money flows. Step 2. Ask who pays to fix this. This is where most people stop. They see the gap. They even think of a solution. But they never ask the economic question. Who is in so much pain from this problem that they will pay me to solve it? A gap without a payer is just a hobby. A gap with a desperate payer is a business. Millionaires don't guess. They ask. They talk to potential customers before they build anything. They find the pain point. They confirm someone will pay. Then and only then do they move to step 3. Step 3. Reverse engineer value. Here's the trick. Don't start with what you can build. Start with what someone will pay. If they'll pay $10,000 for a solution, work backward. What's the minimum viable version that delivers 80% of the result for 20% of the effort? Millionaires don't overbuild. They don't create the perfect product. They create the smallest bridge between the problem and the payment. Then they test it. This is the difference between a dreamer and a builder. Dreamers start with their idea. Builders start with the price. Step 4. Build the minimum bridge. You don't need an office. You don't need a team. You don't need investors or a fancy website. You need the absolute minimum to prove the concept works. Can you solve the problem for one person? Great, do that. Charge them. Get a testimonial. That's your bridge. Once you prove one person will pay, you can scale. But most people do it backward. They spend 6 months building, then look for customers. Millionaires spend 6 days building the minimum, then find 10 customers. Speed beats perfection every single time. Step 5. Test with speed. Fail fast, iterate faster. This is the hardest step for most people because it requires killing your ego. Your first version will be bad. Your second version will be less bad. Your 10th version will be good. Millionaires know this. They don't aim for perfect. Let me show you this in action. There was a janitor. Night shift. 32 years old. Cleaning offices in a mid-sized city. He noticed something. Step 1, see the gap. The cleaning company he worked for was disorganized. They missed buildings, double-booked crews, and clients complained. He saw the gap. Inefficient scheduling. Step 2, ask who pays to fix this. He talked to building managers. They were paying premium rates for mediocre service. They'd pay more for reliability. There was the payer. Step 3, reverse engineer value. If a building manager would pay $3,000 a month for consistent, high-quality cleaning, what's the minimum to deliver that? A checklist, a small team, A simple scheduling system. He worked backward. Step 4, build the minimum bridge. He started with one building, his own crew of 2, a shared Google Calendar, a printed checklist. That was it. Step 5, test with speed. First month, they missed a trash pickup. Client complained. He fixed it. Added a reminder system. Second month, perfect. Client gave a referral. Step 6, stack the win. He used the profit from 2 buildings to hire another crew, then another. Each crew funded the next. Step 7, repeat with pattern recognition. He saw the same pattern worked for window washing, then carpet cleaning, then full facility management. 10 years later, $2 million in revenue. Same 7 steps, over and over. Now let's talk about why most people never install this algorithm. It's not because they're lazy. It's because their brain is running a different program, the hope-based goal program. And hope is a terrible operating system for wealth. Here's how hope works. You set a goal. I want to make $100,000 this year. You feel excited. You write it down. You maybe even visualize it. Then you wait. You hope your boss gives you a raise. You hope your side hustle takes off. You hope the stock market goes up. Hope, hope, hope. And when December comes and you're still at 60,000, you blame yourself. You weren't disciplined enough. You didn't want it badly enough. You didn't manifest hard enough. Wrong. The problem wasn't your effort. It was your system. Hope is not a system. Inevitability is a system. Millionaires don't hope. They design inevitability. They ask a different question. How do I make this outcome automatic? How do I remove my willpower from the equation? Because willpower is finite. It runs out by 3 p.m. It disappears when you're tired, stressed, or hungry. If your wealth depends on willpower, you've already lost. But if your wealth depends on a system that runs whether you feel motivated or not, then it's inevitable. Let me show you the inevitability framework. 3 parts: identity, environment, and feedback loops. Identity is who you believe you are. If you believe you're bad with money, you will sabotage every opportunity to prove yourself right. Your brain hates being wrong more than it loves being rich. So it will make you bad with money to protect your self-image. This sounds insane, but it's neuroscience. Your reticular activating system filters reality to match your beliefs. If you believe you're broke, you'll see evidence everywhere. If you believe you're someone wealth flows to, you'll see opportunities everywhere. Same world, different filter. The identity shift protocol is simple. Act as if, gather evidence, reinforce the loop. Act as if you're the person you want to become, not fake it till you make it. Act as if. If you want to be an investor, invest. $10 counts. You're now an investor. If you want to be an entrepreneur, sell something. Anything. You're now an entrepreneur. If you want to be wealthy, make one wealthy decision today. Save instead of spend. Learn instead of scroll. Build instead of consume. That's acting as if. Step 2, gather evidence. Your brain needs proof. So give it proof. Every time you act as if, write it down. I invested today. I built today. I learned today. The evidence accumulates. Your brain starts to believe the new story. Step 3, reinforce the loop. Tell yourself the new identity out loud. I am someone who builds wealth. I am someone money flows to. I am someone who creates value. This feels silly at first. Do it anyway. Your subconscious is listening, and it will rewrite the code. There's a woman who went from food stamps to $250,000 a year in 3 years. Single mom, 2 kids, no college degree. What changed? One belief. She used to say, I'm not good with money. Then one day she stopped. She started saying, I'm learning to be good with money. Small shift, massive impact. That new belief led to new actions. She read books. She took a free online course. She started a side hustle. Each action gave her evidence. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm building. The identity reinforced itself. The more she acted like someone who was good with money, the more she became someone who was good with money. 3 years later, she was running a 6-figure consulting business. Same person. Different operating system. Environment is the space around you. Your apps, your friends, your bookmarks, your calendar. If your environment is designed for spending, you will spend. If your environment is designed for building, you will build. Millionaires automate their environment. They set up auto transfers so money hits investments before they see it. They unsubscribe from shopping emails. They join communities of builders, not consumers. They make the default option the wealthy option. You don't need discipline when the environment does the work. One example. A teacher wanted to become a millionaire by 50. She didn't have a high salary. She didn't start a business. She designed her environment. Every paycheck, $400 auto-transferred to a brokerage account before hitting her checking. She never saw it. She couldn't spend it. It just accumulated. 30 years of auto transfers, index funds, compound interest. At 50, she had 1.2 million. Zero willpower required. The environment did everything. Feedback loops are how you know if it's working. Most people check their bank account once a month, feel bad, and do nothing. That's not a feedback loop. That's self-punishment. A real feedback loop has 3 parts. Measure, analyze, adjust. Millionaires measure their net worth monthly, not to feel good or bad, to see the trend. Is it up or down? Then they analyze. What worked? What didn't? Then they adjust. More of what worked, less of what didn't. The loop tightens. The system improves. And wealth becomes inevitable. The inevitability map is your homework. Design one system that runs without you. Auto-invest every paycheck. Auto-save a percentage of every deposit. Auto-enroll in a skill-building course every quarter. Pick one, install it, let it run. That's how you make wealth inevitable. Let's shift to something uncomfortable. Pricing. Most people are leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table because they don't understand the value equation. They think price equals hours times rate. That's addition math. It's broke math. Millionaires use a different formula. Value equals dream outcome times perceived likelihood divided by time delay plus effort and sacrifice. Let me break that down. Dream outcome is the result your customer wants. Perceived likelihood is how confident they are you'll deliver it. Time delay is how long until they get it. Effort and sacrifice is how hard it is for them. If you increase dream outcome or perceived likelihood, you can charge more. If you decrease time delay or effort and sacrifice, you can charge more. Hours worked. Nowhere in the equation. Here's a real example. A freelance copywriter was charging $25 an hour. Good writer, decent clients, but always broke. Why? Because she was pricing on time, not value. Then she shifted. Instead of saying, I charge $25 per hour, she started saying, I help e-commerce brands increase email revenue by 30% in 90 days. Guaranteed or you don't pay. Same writing, different frame. Dream outcome, 30% more revenue. Perceived likelihood, guaranteed. Time delay, 90 days. Effort and sacrifice, 0. The client just gets emails. She started charging $10,000 per project. Same 20 hours of work, 400 times more per hour. The writing didn't change. The value equation did. Now let's pause for a moment. Think about what you do for work. What's the outcome your customer or employer really wants? Not the task, not the deliverable, the transformation. If you're a designer, they don't want a logo. They want to look credible so they can charge premium prices. If you're a coach, they don't want a session. They want to feel confident so they can ask for the promotion. If you're a developer, they don't want code. They want to automate the boring work so they can scale without hiring. That outcome, that's what you price on. Not your time, not your effort, the transformation. Once you see this, you can 10x your rates overnight because you're no longer selling hours. You're selling results. Take a breath with me. In through your nose for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out through your mouth for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel the space in your chest open. You've been absorbing a lot. Your brain is rewiring. That takes energy. So breathe. Give it oxygen. When you're ready, we'll keep going. Let's talk about the proximity principle. You've heard the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's true, but not for the reason you think. It's not about motivation or inspiration. It's about mirror neurons. Your brain has cells that fire when you watch someone else do something. They're designed to help you learn by imitation. When you're around people who think small, your mirror neurons fire for small. The 5-person audit is simple. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Rate their money mindset on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 means scarcity-driven, fearful, stuck. 10 means abundance-driven, risk-taking, growing, be honest. If your average is below 6, you're in the wrong room. Now make a plan. 90 days. Add 2 people who are 9s or 10s. This doesn't mean dump your friends. It means expand your circle. Join a community. Attend an event. Reach out to someone you admire. Proximity isn't about using people. It's about learning from them and giving back when you can. The rising tide lifts all boats, but you have to be near the tide. Now let's talk about the thing nobody wants to hear. Failure. Millionaires fail constantly. 80% of what they try doesn't work. Projects flop. Investments tank. Partnerships dissolve. But here's the difference. They don't see failure as defeat. They see it as data. Each failure is an experiment that returned information. What doesn't work is just as valuable as what does. Because now they know. And they don't have to waste time trying it again. This is the failure algorithm. Fail small, fail fast. Fail forward. Fail small means keep the bets tiny. Don't risk your life savings on an untested idea. Risk a weekend. Risk $100. Risk a month of evenings. If it fails, you lose almost nothing. If it works, you scale. Fail fast means don't drag it out. If something isn't working after 30 days, kill it. Don't give it 6 months out of stubbornness. Time is the most expensive thing you have. Spend it on things that work. Fail forward means extract the lesson. Every failure has a gift. You just have to unwrap it. What did you learn? What will you do differently? What pattern did you see? Write it down. That's your tuition payment. You paid for the lesson. Don't waste it. There's a story about an entrepreneur who lost $500,000 on a failed startup. $500,000. Most people would declare bankruptcy and give up. He didn't. He spent 3 months doing an autopsy. What went wrong? He broke it into categories: product, market, timing, team, execution. He found 12 specific mistakes. He wrote them on index cards. He reviewed them every morning. Then he started a new company. Different product, same industry. This time, he avoided all 12 mistakes. 5 years later, the company was worth $10 million. Someone asked him, "How did you recover from losing $500,000? He said, "I didn't lose it. I invested it in my MBA. That's the failure algorithm." Turn loss into lesson. Turn lesson into leverage. The failure inventory is your next step. Write down your 3 biggest failures. Business, money, career, relationships. Anything where you tried and it didn't work. Next to each one, write the lesson. What did you learn? Then write one action. What will you do differently because of this lesson? If you can't find a lesson, you haven't looked hard enough. Every failure is a teacher, but only if you're willing to be a student. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about time, specifically where yours is going. Because here's the brutal truth. Busy does not equal productive. Most people confuse motion with progress. They're in meetings. They're answering emails. They're checking Slack. They feel exhausted at the end of the day, but their bank account doesn't move. Why? Because they're spending time on income theater, activities that feel like work but generate $0. Millionaires are ruthless about time. They divide every hour into 2 categories: wealth building or waste. Wealth building activities directly increase net worth. Creating a product, closing a deal, learning a high-value skill, hiring leverage, investing. Everything else is waste. Not unimportant, just not wealth building. And millionaires delegate, automate, or delete the waste. Here's the $10,000 per hour audit. Ask yourself, what would I do if I was getting paid $10,000 for this hour? You wouldn't answer low-priority emails. You wouldn't scroll social media. You wouldn't attend a meeting with no agenda. You'd do the one thing that moves the needle: the client pitch, the product launch, the strategic partnership. That's the only thing you'd do. Now here's the kicker. You should treat every hour like it's worth $10,000, because over your lifetime it is. If you waste an hour a day for 40 years, that's 14,600 hours. At $100 an hour, that's $1.4 million. Gone, scrolled away. The millionaire's calendar is sacred. Deep work blocks, protected, no interruptions. Everything else is delegated to an assistant or batched into a single hour. They treat their time like a scarce, precious resource, because it is. There's a CEO who cut her meetings by 70% in 1 year. Revenue doubled. How? She instituted a rule. No meeting without a 1-page brief. Purpose, desired outcome, decision to be made. If someone couldn't write that in advance, the meeting didn't happen. Most meetings disappeared because they weren't necessary. They were habit. The ones that remained were short, focused, and productive. She reclaimed 30 hours a week. She spent them on strategy, product, and key relationships. The business exploded, not because she worked more, because she worked on the right things. The 80-20 time audit starts now. For the next week, track every hour. Put it in one of 2 buckets: wealth building or waste. At the end of the week, look at the data. If less than 20% of your time is wealth building, you're in trouble. Your goal is to flip that. 80% wealth building, 20% everything else. How? Delegate the waste. Hire a virtual assistant for $15 an hour to handle email, scheduling, research. Automate what you can. Use tools. Use templates. Use systems. Delete the rest. Unsubscribe. Say no. Protect your time like it's worth $10,000 an hour, because it is. Now let's go internal. Let's talk about identity, because you can have the perfect strategy, the perfect system, the perfect plan. But if you see yourself as a broke person, you will sabotage everything. Your identity is the operating system. Everything else is just apps. If the OS is corrupted, the apps won't run. Most people carry an identity they didn't choose. It was installed by their parents, their school, their first job, their early failures. They heard, "We can't afford that." They internalized, "I'm poor." They heard, "Money doesn't grow on trees." They internalized, "Money is scarce." They heard, "Rich people are greedy." They internalized, "Wealth is bad." These beliefs are not facts. They're programs. And programs can be rewritten. The identity shift protocol has 3 steps. Act as if, gather evidence, reinforce the loop. Act as if you're the person you want to become, not fake it till you make it. Act as if you want to be an investor, invest. $10 counts. You're now an investor. If you want to be an entrepreneur, sell something. Anything. You're now an entrepreneur. If you want to be wealthy, make one wealthy decision today. Save instead of spend. Learn instead of scroll. Build instead of consume. That's acting as if. Step 2, gather evidence. Your brain needs proof, so give it proof. Every time you act as if, write it down. I invested today. I built today. I learned today. The evidence accumulates. Your brain starts to believe the new story. Step 3, reinforce the loop. Tell yourself the new identity out loud. I am someone who builds wealth. I am someone money flows to. I am someone who creates value. This feels silly at first. Do it anyway. Your subconscious is listening, and it will rewrite the code. The future self letter is your next exercise. Get out a piece of paper. Write a letter from your millionaire self 3 years from now. Write in present tense. Today I woke up at 6 a.m. I went for a run because I have the energy to take care of my body. I checked my portfolio. It's grown another 12,000 this month. I spent the morning working on my second income stream. I had a call with a potential client. I closed the deal for 20,000. I spent the afternoon with my family because I have the freedom to design my schedule. Write every detail. What you do, how you feel, what your life looks like. Read it every morning. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. The more you read it, the more it becomes your new normal. And you start making decisions that match that future. Let's talk about building a machine. Because 1 income stream is fragile, 2 is better, 4 is resilient. And that's the goal, resilience, not just wealth. The ability to withstand shocks, job loss, market crash, industry disruption. If you have 4 income streams, losing 1 is inconvenient, not catastrophic. Millionaires think in ecosystems. They don't have a job. They have a portfolio. Earned income from active work, profit income from a business, interest income from investments, royalty income from intellectual property. Each stream feeds the others. Earned income funds the business. Business profit funds investments. Investments grow passively. Royalties add a safety net. The ecosystem compounds. Here's the assembly sequence. Start with earned. That's your foundation. Your job, your freelance work, your active income. It's reliable. It pays the bills, but it's capped by your time. So while you're earning, you build profit. A side business, a product, a service, something you own. At first it's small, a few hundred a month, then a few thousand. Eventually it matches your earned income. Now you have 2 streams. Next you layer passive. Take profit from the business and invest it. Index funds, real estate, dividend stocks. This is the compound layer. It grows while you sleep. Finally you add royalty. A book, a course, a software product. There's a software engineer who built this exact ecosystem. Started with his salary, $110,000 a year. Earned income. He used 10% to start a side project, a developer tool. It made $500 a month at first. Profit income. Then $2,000. Then $5,000. He kept his job for 3 years while the side project grew. When it hit $10,000 a month, he quit. Now he had 1 stream, profit. He took half of that profit and invested it. Index funds, rental property, interest income. After 2 years, his investments were generating $3,000 a month. Now he had 2 streams. Finally, he turned the developer tool into a course. How to build developer tools. 30 people bought it at $500 each. 15,000. He didn't touch it for a year. But 30 more people bought it. Then 50. Then 100. Royalty income. 3 years later, he had 4 streams. Profit from the tool. Interest from investments. Royalty from the course. Total? $30,000 a month. He quit his job at 34. Not because he hated it. Because he didn't need it. The ecosystem blueprint is your 36-month plan. Write down 4 columns. Earned, profit, interest, royalty. Under earned, write your current income. Under profit, write 1 business idea you could start in the next 90 days. Under interest, write 1 investment you could make in the next 6 months. Under royalty, write 1 thing you could create in the next year. Now pick the first step, the profit idea. What's the smallest version you could test this week? Do that. When it works, scale it. When it generates profit, invest it. When the investment grows, create the royalty. 36 months from now, you'll have 4 streams, and your life will look completely different. Let's talk about something counterintuitive, giving. Most people think generosity is something you do when you're rich. Millionaires know it's what makes you rich, not in some cosmic, karmic way, in a practical, mechanical way. Money is energy. It flows, and it flows toward people who circulate it. When you hoard, you signal scarcity. You tell the universe, and more importantly, your brain, that there's not enough. So your brain looks for evidence of scarcity, and it finds it. You see problems, costs, risks. You make fear-based decisions, and you stay stuck. When you give, you signal abundance. You tell your brain, there's more than enough. Your brain looks for evidence of abundance, and it finds it. You see opportunities, solutions, possibilities. You make growth-based decisions, and you expand. This isn't magical thinking, it's neuroscience. Your reticular activating system filters reality based on your beliefs. If you believe money is scarce, you'll see scarcity. If you believe money is abundant, you'll see abundance. Giving is a belief-shifting action. Every time you give, you prove to yourself that you have more than enough. That proof rewires your brain, and your brain drives your behavior. Strategic generosity is even more powerful. Invest in people. Mentor someone who's hungry. Introduce 2 people who should know each other. Share an insight that could change someone's business. These acts create velocity, not because people owe you, but because you've entered a different network, a network of givers. And givers get access to rooms, opportunities, and relationships that takers never see. There's a millionaire who gives away 20% of his income every year. 20% to charities, to friends in need, to opportunities that won't generate a return. People think he's crazy, but his net worth doubles every decade. Why? Because giving keeps him in an abundance mindset. It forces him to make more. It connects him to people who value generosity. It opens doors that would have stayed closed. He's not giving to get. He's giving to stay in the flow, and the flow rewards him. The 1% give is your starting point. Commit to giving 1% of your income this month. It doesn't have to be money. It can be time. It can be expertise. Pick a cause. Pick a person. Pick an opportunity. Give without expecting anything back. Then track what happens. Not immediately. Over the next 90 days, notice what opportunities show up, what introductions happen, what shifts internally. You'll be surprised. Generosity creates momentum, and momentum creates wealth. Now let's talk about maintenance. Because getting wealthy is one thing, staying wealthy is another. 70% of lottery winners go broke within 5 years. Why? Because they didn't install the algorithm. They got money, but they kept the scarcity operating system. So the scarcity operating system found a way to prove itself right. They spent. They trusted the wrong people. They made fear-based decisions, and the money evaporated. Millionaires stay wealthy because they maintain the algorithm. They don't coast. They don't assume it'll keep working. They actively manage it. Monthly check-ins, quarterly reviews, annual audits. They treat wealth like a garden. It requires tending. The millionaire's dashboard has 3 metrics. Net worth, income streams, time allocation. Net worth is your total assets minus total liabilities. Track it monthly, not to feel good or bad, to see the trend. Is it going up? Great. Keep doing what you're doing. Is it flat or down? Something's broken. Investigate. Income streams is how many sources of money you have. Track how much each one generates. Is one stream shrinking? Diversify. Is one growing fast? Double down. Time allocation is where your hours go. Are you spending 80% on wealth building? Or is it drifting back to waste? Audit quarterly. Adjust. The upgrade cycle is simple. Every 90 days, level up one thing, one skill, one relationship, one system. Skills compound. If you learn one high-value skill per quarter, you'll have 4 new skills per year. 40 over a decade. You'll be unrecognizable. Relationships compound. If you add 2 high-quality people to your circle per quarter, you'll have 8 per year. 80 over a decade. Your network will be a rocket ship. Systems compound. If you automate or improve 1 system per quarter, you'll have 4 per year. 40 over a decade. Your life will run itself. The upgrade cycle turns maintenance into momentum. You're not just preserving wealth. You're accelerating it. There's a retiree who 10x'd his wealth after 60. Most people slow down at 60. He accelerated. Why? Because he never stopped running the algorithm. Every quarter he learned something new. Coding, marketing, real estate law. Every quarter he met someone new. entrepreneurs, investors, operators. Every quarter he improved one system: his investment strategy, his health routine, his time management. By 70, he was sharper than he'd been at 40. And his net worth reflected it. The algorithm doesn't retire, and neither should you. The quarterly review template is your maintenance tool. Set a calendar reminder. First day of every quarter, block 2 hours. Ask 3 questions. What worked this quarter? Do more of that. What didn't work? Stop doing that. What's one upgrade I can make? Learn a skill. Build a relationship. Improve a system. Write down the answers. Implement immediately. This 2-hour ritual will keep the algorithm running for decades. And decades of compounding is how you go from comfortable to generational wealth. Now let's get incredibly practical. We're going to build a 90-day implementation system. Day by day, week by week. This is the bridge between knowledge and results. Most people fail not because they don't understand the algorithm. They fail because they don't have a daily practice, a structure, a sequence they follow religiously. So here it is, your 90-day wealth-building protocol, broken down into bite-sized actions. Each one takes less than an hour, but together they rewire your entire financial life. Week 1 is about awareness and foundation. Day 1, morning. Set your alarm 30 minutes earlier. Before you check your phone, sit up. Take 3 deep breaths. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 6. 3 times. Then write 1 sentence. Today I begin building wealth. Say it out loud. You've just started the identity shift. Evening. Before bed, write down every I can't afford that thought you had today. Next to each, write F for fear or F for fact. Most will be fear. That's your scarcity program revealing itself. Day 2. Morning. Same breathing. Same sentence. Today I build wealth. Evening. Open a notes app on your phone. Title it Gap Tracker. Every time you feel frustrated today by something broken, slow, or inefficient, add it to the list. You're training your brain to see opportunities. Day 3. Morning. Breathing. Sentence. Add 1 line. I create value and money follows. Evening. Look at your gap list. Pick the most annoying one. Spend 15 minutes researching. Is anyone solving this? What do they charge? You're not building anything yet. Just observing. Day 4. Morning. Breathing. Sentence. Evening. Pull up your bank statements from last month. Categorize every expense, essential or discretionary. Calculate the percentage that was discretionary. Most people are shocked. 50% or more. That's your wealth-building capital hiding in plain sight. Day 5. Morning. Breathing. Sentence. Evening. Set up 1 auto transfer, even if it's $10, from checking to savings or investment account. Schedule it for every payday. Automatic. The environment is now working for you. Day 6. Morning. Breathing. Sentence. Add, I am someone who invests consistently. Evening. Write your future self letter. 3 years from now. Present tense. What does your day look like? Where do you live? How much is in your accounts? What work do you do? Be specific. Read it out loud. Day 7. Morning. Breathing. Full sequence. Today I build wealth. I create value and money follows. I am someone who. Week 2 is about value and pricing. Day 8. Morning. Breathing. Identity sentences. Add 1. My time is worth $10,000 per hour. Evening. Write down what you do for work. Not your title. The actual output. Now rewrite it as an outcome. From I design logos to I help brands look credible so they can charge premium prices. That's your value proposition. Day 9. Morning. Breathing. Sentences. Evening. Research 3 people in your field who charge significantly more than you. Look at their websites, their positioning. How do they describe what they do? They're pricing on value, not time. Study the language they use. Day 10. Morning. Breathing. Sentences. Evening. Calculate your current hourly rate. If you're salaried, divide annual salary by 2,000 hours. If you're freelance, track last month's income divided by hours worked. Write it down. Now multiply by 10. That's your target rate, not in a year. Eventually, the gap between current and target is your value education. Day 11. Morning. Breathing. Sentences. Evening. Email or message 3 past clients or colleagues. Ask 1 question. What outcome did you value most from our work together? Their answers tell you what to price on. Day 12. Morning. Breathing. Sentences. Evening. Create a new rate sheet or pricing structure. Based on outcomes, not hours. If you're employed, don't send this anywhere yet. Just practice thinking in value terms. Day 13. Morning. Breathing. Sentences. Evening. Pick 1 upcoming project or opportunity. Quote the new value-based price, even if it feels scary, especially if it feels scary. The worst they can say is no. And that's just data. Day 14, morning, breathing, sentences, evening, review week 2. Did you raise your rates or positioning? Did anyone respond to your value question? What surprised you? Write it down. Week 2 complete. Week 3 is about proximity and network. Day 15, morning, breathing, sentences. I surround myself with people who think bigger than me. Evening, do the 5-person audit. List the 5 people you spend most time with. Rate their money mindset 1 to 10. Calculate average. If it's below 7, you have work to do. Day 16, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Identify 3 people you wish you knew. Industry leaders, successful entrepreneurs, people operating at a level you want to reach. Write their names. Find their contact info. LinkedIn, email, Twitter, Instagram. Day 17, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Craft a 3-sentence outreach to person 1. I admire your work on X. I'm working on Y. Would you be open to a 15-minute call? Keep it short, specific, send it. Don't overthink. Day 18, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Send outreach to person 2. Different message. Same structure. Admiration, context, ask, send, day. 19, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Send. Outreach to person 3. Send. Then, research one event in your city or industry. Conference, meetup, workshop, something where high-level people gather. Buy a ticket or register, even if it's expensive, especially if it's expensive. Day 20, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Join one online community of builders, a paid mastermind, a Slack group, a forum, somewhere people are actively building wealth, not complaining about money. Introduce yourself. Day 21, morning, breathing, sentences, evening, review week 3. Did anyone respond to your outreach? Did you join a community? Did you buy an event ticket? Proximity is momentum. You're creating it. Week 3 complete. Week 4 is about failure and resilience. Day 22, morning, breathing, sentences. At every failure teaches me what works. Evening, pull out your failure inventory. Write your 3 biggest professional or financial failures. Be honest, be specific. Day 23, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Pick failure 1. Do a detailed autopsy. What went wrong? Break it into categories: product, market, timing, execution. Write specific mistakes, not vague statements. Day 24, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Extract lessons from failure 1. What would you do differently? Write at least 3 specific changes. These are your new rules. Day 25, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Repeat the autopsy for failure 2. Specific mistakes, categories, no judgment, just observation. Day 26, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Extract lessons from failure 2. What did this failure teach you that success never could? Write it down. Day 27, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Repeat. For failure 3, autopsy, lessons, actions. Day 28, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Compile all lessons from all 3 failures. You now have a playbook of what not to do. This is worth more than most business degrees. Review week 4. Your relationship with failure is shifting. It's becoming data. Week 4 complete. Week 5 is about time and elimination. Day 29, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Start the time audit. For the next 7 days, track every hour. Create 2 columns in a spreadsheet. Wealth building or waste. Be ruthless. Day 30, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Continue tracking. Notice patterns. When do you waste the most time? Morning, afternoon? What triggers it? Day 31, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Continue tracking. Day 32, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Continue tracking. You're halfway through the time audit. Day 33, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Continue tracking. Notice resistance. Your brain will try to justify the waste. Don't judge, just observe. Day 34, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Continue tracking. Day 35, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Complete tracking. Calculate percentages. What percent was wealth building? What percent was waste? If wealth building is less than 20%, you're in trouble. Now identify the biggest time wasters. Meetings, email, social media, Netflix. Write them down. Circle the top 3. These are your targets. Review week 5. You now know where your life is going. Week 5 complete. Week 6 is about elimination and delegation. Day 36. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Look at your top 3 time wasters. Pick one. Create a plan to cut it by 50% this week. Cancel recurring meetings. Batch email to twice daily. Delete social apps. Pick one. Do it. Day 37. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Execute the elimination plan. Track the time saved. What did you do with it? Did you waste it elsewhere or invest it in wealth building? Day 38. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Identify 3 tasks you do regularly that someone else could do cheaper. Email management, calendar scheduling, research, data entry. Write them down. Day 39. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Research virtual assistants or freelancers, Upwork, Fiverr, Fancy Hands. Find someone who charges $15 to $25 per hour. Read reviews. Day 40. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Hire someone for a test project. 5 hours. One of your 3 tasks. Give clear instructions. Let them work. Day 41. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Review their work. Give feedback. If it's good, give them more. If not, try someone else. The goal is to free up 5 hours per week minimum. Day 42. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Calculate your time savings. You eliminated 1 time waster. You delegated 1 task. How many hours did you reclaim? What will you do with them? Write your plan. Review week 6. You're protecting your most valuable asset now, time. Week 6 complete. Week 7 is about building and launching. Day 43. Morning, breathing, sentences. Add, I build assets that generate income while I sleep. Evening. Look at your ecosystem blueprint. You wrote 1 business idea in the profit column weeks ago. Pull it out. What's the absolute minimum version you could launch in 7 days? Write it down. Day 44. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Build the minimum. If it's a service, create a 1-page offer document. If it's a product, outline the simplest version. If it's content, write the first piece. No perfection, just momentum. Day 45. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Continue building. You're not creating a business yet. You're creating proof of concept. Can you solve the problem for 1 person? Day 46. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Finish the minimum viable version. It should be embarrassingly simple. That's correct. If you're not slightly embarrassed, you overbuilt. Day 47. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Find your first customer. Not 100. 1. Post in a community. Message a friend. Email your network. I'm testing this new thing. First 5 people get it for half price or free in exchange for testimonial. Find 1 person. Day 48. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Deliver for customer 1. Over-deliver. Get feedback. Ask what they'd change, what they loved, what they'd pay. This is gold. Day 49. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Incorporate feedback. Adjust the offer. Find customer 2. Launch again. Review week 7. You just built and launched something in 7 days. Most people talk about ideas for years. You shipped. Week 7 complete. Week 8 is about iteration and scaling. Day 50. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Deliver for customer 2. Get feedback. Compare it to feedback from customer 1. Are there patterns? What do both people say? That's your core value. Day 51. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Adjust pricing based on feedback. What would customers pay? Price based on their transformation, not your effort. Update your offer. Week 9 is about investment and passive income. Day 57. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Look at the profit from your micro business. Even if it's small, decide on a split. 50% lifestyle, 50% wealth. Take the wealth portion. Where does it go? Investment account, business scaling. Day 58. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. If you haven't already, open an investment account. Brokerage, robo-advisor, whatever's easiest. Fund it with the wealth portion from your micro business profit. Buy index funds, set it and forget it. Day 59, morning, breathing, sentences, evening, research one additional passive income stream. Dividend stocks, REITs, high-yield savings, crypto staking. Pick one that matches your risk tolerance. Day 60, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Make your first investment in the passive stream. Even if it's small, $25, $50, $100. The amount doesn't matter. The behavior does. You're now earning passive income. Day 61, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Set up automatic recurring investments every week or every month. From your bank account to your investment account. Automatic. Remove willpower from the equation. Day 62, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Research royalty income options. Digital products, courses, ebooks, stock photos, music. What could you create once that pays forever? Write down 3 ideas. Day 63, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Pick the easiest royalty idea. What would it take to create version 1? Outline it. Don't build it yet. Just plan it. Review week 9. You're now investing automatically. You have passive income starting. You have a royalty plan. The ecosystem is growing. Week 9 complete. Week 10 is about relapse prevention and systems hardening. Day 64, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Identify your trigger. What situation would cause you to slip back into old patterns? Stress? Money emergency? Toxic person? Write down your top 3 triggers. Day 65, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. For each trigger, write a prevention plan. If work gets stressful, I will protect my morning protocol by waking up 30 minutes earlier. If money gets tight, I will review my time wasters before touching investments. If someone brings scarcity talk, I will change the subject or leave the conversation. Specific plans. Day 66, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Create a relapse recovery checklist. Print it, put it somewhere visible. Bathroom mirror, desk, fridge, the 5 steps. Notice without judgment. Identify the trigger. Micro restart immediately. Reinforce identity. Update system. When you slip, you'll have a protocol. Day 67. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Audit your environment. Look around your physical and digital space. What enables wealth building? What enables waste? Unsubscribe from retail emails. Unfollow accounts that make you feel behind. Delete games or apps that eat time. Clean your environment. Day 68. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Create a slip prevention automation. If you tend to overspend when emotional, freeze your credit card in a block of ice. Literally. If you tend to skip investing, increase your auto transfer amount. Make slipping harder. Make wealth building easier. Day 69. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Write a commitment letter to yourself. If I slip, I will not spiral. I will run the recovery protocol within 24 hours. I will restart immediately. Sign it, date it. Day 70. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Review week 10. You now have trigger awareness. Prevention plans. Recovery protocol. Slipping won't destroy you. You're built for resilience now. Week 10 complete. Week 11 is about scaling and leverage. Day 71. Morning, breathing, sentences. I use systems and people to multiply my output. Evening. Look at your micro business. You've served 5 to 10 customers by now. What part takes the most time? Delivery, admin, marketing. Identify the bottleneck. Day 72. Morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Research ways to automate or delegate the bottleneck. Software, template, freelancer. Write down 3 options with cost estimates. Day 73, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Invest in leverage. Hire someone for 3 hours. Buy the software. Build the template. Whatever removes you from the bottleneck. This is scary. Do it anyway. Leverage is how you escape time for money. Day 74, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Test the leverage. Did the freelancer do good work? Does the software save time? Does the template work? Measure the hours saved. If it saved more than it cost, double down. Day 75, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Reinvest profit into more leverage. Can you delegate another task? Automate another process? The goal is to remove yourself from delivery gradually. Day 76, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Increase your capacity. With leverage, you can serve more customers in the same time. Reach out to 5 new prospects. Offer your service. See who bites. Day 77, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Calculate your new effective hourly rate. With leverage, you should be earning more per hour worked. Is it climbing? From 50 per hour to 100? From 100 to 200? Write it down. Celebrate it. Review week 11. You're not just trading time anymore. You're building systems. Week 11 complete. Week 12 is about momentum and long-term vision. Day 78, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Reflect on the last 11 weeks. What's different about your financial life, your mindset, your daily routine? Write a full page. Day 79, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Calculate your net worth today. Assets minus liabilities. Compare it to week 1. Even if it's only moved a few $1,000s, that's proof. The algorithm works. Day 80, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Reread your future self letter from week 1. Does it still feel right? Or has your vision expanded? Rewrite it if needed. Be even more specific, even more ambitious. Day 81, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Plan your next 90 days. What's one skill you'll learn? What's one relationship you'll build? What's one system you'll improve? Write specific goals. Day 82, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Schedule your first quarterly review. Block 2 hours. First day of next quarter. Put it on the calendar now. Non-negotiable. Day 83, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Identify one person who needs to hear this. Someone stuck where you were 12 weeks ago. Reach out. Offer to share what you learned. Teaching solidifies your own knowledge. Day 84, morning, breathing, sentences, evening. Review the full 90 days. Write down your top 10 lessons, your biggest wins, your hardest moments, what you do differently. This is your wealth building playbook. Week 12 complete. 90-day cycle complete. Now let's talk about what happens after the 90 days. Because this is where most people plateau. They hit 90 days. They've built momentum. They've seen results. And then they coast. They think the algorithm will run itself forever without maintenance. It won't. Wealth building is like fitness. You can't work out for 90 days and then stop. The muscle disappears. The same is true for wealth muscle. You have to keep training. But the good news? After 90 days, the algorithm is installed. The habits are forming. The identity is shifting. Maintenance is easier than installation. It's not starting from zero. It's staying in motion. Here's your post-90-day protocol. Quarterly deep dives. Annual overhauls. Daily micro-habits. The quarterly deep dive is a 2-hour session. First day of every quarter, you ask 3 questions. What worked? What didn't? What's my next upgrade? You review your dashboard. Net worth, income streams, time allocation. You celebrate wins. You kill what's dead. You plant new seeds. The annual overhaul is a full day, once per year. Ideally on your birthday or New Year's. You zoom out. Where were you a year ago? Where are you now? Where do you want to be next year? You rewrite your future self letter. You audit your network. You refresh your systems. The daily micro habits are your morning protocol. The breathing. The identity sentences. The wealth building time blocks. These never stop. They're maintenance. They keep the algorithm running even when life gets chaotic. Let me show you what year 2 looks like after the first 90 days. You continue the morning protocol. Every day, non-negotiable. It takes 10 minutes now instead of 30. It's automatic. You barely think about it. You do quarterly reviews, 4 times per year. Each one reveals a new bottleneck or opportunity. You make adjustments. Your micro business that made a few thousand in quarter 1, it makes 8,000 in quarter 2, 15,000 in quarter 3, 25,000 in quarter 4. Why? Because you keep reinvesting profit into leverage. You keep improving systems. You keep testing and iterating. Your income streams multiply. You started with 1, your job. After 90 days, you had 2. Job plus micro business. By end of year 1, you have 3. Job, business, investments. By end of year 2, you have 4. Job, business, investments, royalty from a digital product you finally launched. Each stream feeds the others. The ecosystem is alive. Your net worth compounds. Year 1, it grew 50,000. Year 2, it grows 90,000. Not because you're working harder. Because the money is making money. Investments compound. Business scales. Royalties accumulate. This is the power of the algorithm. It multiplies. Let's talk about what happens when you hit year 5. This is the inflection point. The moment when wealth becomes inevitable. You've been running the algorithm for 5 years. 60 months. 260 weeks. 1,825 days. The compounding is undeniable. Your income has tripled or quadrupled. Your net worth has crossed $500,000, maybe more. You have 4 to 6 income streams. You've automated most of your wealth building. You spend 10 hours per week on it, not 40. The rest of your time is freedom. Projects you love, people you care about, experiences you want. You're not grinding. You're gliding. The machine is running itself. Here's what year 5 looks like in detail. Your morning protocol is 5 minutes. Breathing. Identity sentence. Quick review of your dashboard on your phone. Done. It's so automatic you could do it in your sleep. Your business is systematized. You have a team. Virtual assistants, freelancers, maybe a full-time hire. You're not delivering the service anymore. You're managing the system. Your income, consistent, predictable, growing, 20 to 40,000 per month. Your investments are significant, 300 to 700,000 depending on how aggressive you've been. They're generating 1 to 3,000 per month in dividends or interest. That's passive income covering your living expenses. Your royalty streams are humming. The course you launched in year 2, it's made 200,000 total. The ebook, 50,000. The template pack, 30,000. You created them once. They pay forever. Your proximity is extraordinary. You're friends with people who operate at 10 times your level. They invite you to things. They introduce you to people. They offer you opportunities. You've become a connector too. You see gaps between people. You make introductions. You create value by proximity. Your identity is unshakable. When someone asks what you do, you don't hesitate. I build income-generating assets. I invest in systems that create wealth. You say it with quiet confidence. Because it's true. Your lifestyle has improved dramatically. But not recklessly. You're still running the split strategy. 50% lifestyle improvements, 50% wealth building. You move to a nicer place. You drive a better car. You travel more. But you're also investing more, scaling more, building more. You're winning on both fronts. Now let's talk about relapse at scale. Because here's what nobody tells you. The bigger you get, the harder you can fall. There are relapses waiting at every level. At year 1, the relapse is going back to old spending habits. At year 3, the relapse is lifestyle inflation eating all your gains. At year 5, the relapse is complacency, thinking you've made it so you stop building. At year 10, the relapse is ego, making bets too big, trusting the wrong people, thinking you're invincible. Each level has its own trap, and the algorithm has to evolve to handle them. Here's the advanced relapse prevention system for years 5 through 10. Relapse prevention at the 5-year mark. You're making real money now. Multiple 6 figures, maybe approaching 7. The trap is feeling rich before you are rich. You see a balance in your brokerage account, 500,000. It feels like a fortune. Your brain says, I made it. I can relax. You start taking your foot off the gas. You skip the morning protocol. You stop doing quarterly reviews. You coast. 3 months later, you realize your income has flattened. 6 months later, one of your income streams collapses because you stopped maintaining it. This is the complacency relapse. The prevention. The 5-year recommitment ritual. At exactly 5 years, you do a full-day planning session. You acknowledge how far you've come. You celebrate genuinely. Then you ask, what would the next 5 years look like if I kept the same intensity? You write it down. You commit publicly. To a mentor. To your mastermind. To your accountability partner. You're not starting over. You're doubling down. Relapse prevention at the 10-year mark. You've crossed 1 million, maybe 5 million. You're genuinely wealthy now. The trap is ego and overconfidence. You've had a winning streak. Every bet paid off. Every investment worked. Your brain starts to think you're special, that you can't lose. So you make a big bet. A business investment. A property. A partnership. You skip due diligence because you trust your gut. And you lose big, 200,000, 500,000, maybe more. This is the ego relapse. The prevention. The 10-year humility audit. At exactly 10 years, you sit down with someone who will tell you the truth. A mentor, a spouse, a business partner. You ask them, where am I getting arrogant? Where am I taking shortcuts? Where am I trusting my gut instead of data? You listen. You don't defend. You adjust. You institute a rule. Any investment over 100,000 requires a 30-day waiting period and a second opinion. You slow down. You stay humble. You remember that the algorithm works because it's systematic, not because you're special. Let's talk about legacy. Because at some point, wealth stops being about you. It starts being about what you leave behind. For your kids, your family, your community, your cause. This is when the algorithm becomes intergenerational. You're not just building wealth for your lifetime. You're building wealth that outlasts you. The legacy protocol has 3 parts: education, infrastructure, values. Education means teaching the algorithm to the next generation. Your kids, your nieces and nephews, your mentees. You don't just give them money. You teach them how to make money, how to see gaps, how to create value, how to invest, how to build systems. You run them through the 90-day protocol. You watch them install the algorithm themselves. That's legacy. Infrastructure means setting up systems that outlive you. Trusts, foundations, businesses that run without you. Investment portfolios that compound for decades. You're building a machine that keeps working after you're gone. Values means instilling the abundance mindset in everyone you touch. Not just wealth. The principles, the algorithm, the way of thinking. You model it, you live it. You don't just talk about generosity, you practice it. You don't just talk about value creation, you demonstrate it. Your legacy isn't the bank account, it's the pattern. The algorithm running in multiple minds, multiple families, multiple generations. That's true wealth. Let me tell you about a man who understood legacy. He built his first million by 40, his second by 45, his fifth by 50. By 60 he had 20 million, more than he could spend. He could have retired, bought an island, played golf. Instead, he spent the next 20 years teaching. He mentored 200 entrepreneurs. He gave away half his wealth. He wrote books. He funded scholarships. He created a foundation that taught financial literacy to low-income kids. When he died at 80, his net worth was 15 million, 5 million less than at 60. But his impact? Immeasurable. Those 200 entrepreneurs went on to build 50 million in collective wealth. The foundation taught 100,000 kids. 30% of them became first-generation millionaires. His algorithm didn't die with him. It multiplied. That's legacy. That's the long game. Now let's do one final visualization. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Picture yourself at the end of your life. You're old, wise, at peace. You're looking back at your financial journey. You remember today? This moment. The moment you decided to install the algorithm. You smile. Because you realize that decision was the inflection point. Everything changed after that. Not overnight, gradually, but irreversibly. You remember the first 90 days. How hard it was. How many times you wanted to quit. But you didn't. You kept going. You remember year 5. The moment you realized you'd made it. When the algorithm was running itself. You remember year 10. When wealth became about others, not just you. You remember teaching your kids. Watching them install the algorithm. Watching it work for them too. You remember the legacy you built. Not just money, but minds, patterns, systems. You think about the lives you touched, the people you lifted, the wealth you circulated, and you realize something profound. The algorithm wasn't about getting rich. It was about becoming free. Free to choose, free to create, free to give, free to live. You open your eyes. That future is waiting. The only question is, will you walk toward it? Let's talk about the daily mantras one more time, because words shape reality. The story you tell yourself becomes the life you live. Most people run negative loops all day. I'm broke. I'm stuck. I'll never get ahead. These are spells. And they're working. They're creating the exact reality you're describing. Millionaires run different loops. Positive, present tense, evidence-based. Here are the 7 mantras again. But this time I want you to say them out loud as I say them. Right now, wherever you are. Mantra 1. Money flows to me easily and consistently. Say it. Mantra 2. I create value and wealth follows. Say it. Mantra 3. Every failure is data that makes me smarter. Say it. Mantra 4. I invest in assets that grow while I sleep. Say it. Mantra 5. I surround myself with people who think bigger than me. Say it. Mantra 6. My time is my most valuable asset and I protect it fiercely. Say it. Mantra 7. I am becoming the person wealth naturally flows to. Say it. Did you say them? If not, go back. Say them out loud. Your brain is listening. Your subconscious is taking notes. These mantras are your new operating system. Run them every morning. Run them when doubt creeps in. Run them until they become automatic. Until they become... Week 21, Micro Challenge. The Mentor Immersion. Spend 10 hours in 1 week with someone significantly more successful than you. Shadow them. Interview them. Work for them for free. Absorb everything. This teaches you that success leaves clues, and the clues are everywhere if you get close enough. Week 22, Micro Challenge. The Portfolio Expansion. Start 1 new micro-income stream in 7 days. Doesn't have to be big. Print-on-demand designs. Affiliate marketing. Digital templates. Stock photography. Freelance marketplace profile. Launch it. Even if it makes $10, it's proof you can create income at will. Week 23 Micro Challenge. The System Build. Take one repetitive task you do weekly. Build a complete system for it. Document every step. Create templates. Record a training video. Hire someone to do it next week. This teaches you that your time is for strategy, not execution. Week 24 Micro Challenge. The Abundance Audit. For 7 days, track every abundance signal. Money found. Opportunities offered. Introductions made. Compliments received. Free value given to you. Most people only see scarcity. This challenge trains you to see abundance. By day 7, you'll realize it's everywhere. Now let's talk about what happens when you break through to 7 figures. Because crossing $1 million is psychological as much as mathematical. The $1 million identity shift is real. Before $1 million, you're building. After $1 million, you're allocating. Before $1 million, time is your constraint. After $1 million, attention is your constraint. Before $1 million, you're in the game. After $1 million, you're playing a different game. The rules change. The strategies change. The threats change. Let me walk you through the 7-figure protocol. This is what you do when you cross $1 million in net worth. First, you celebrate. Genuinely. Fully. You acknowledge what you built. Most people skip this. They cross $1 million and immediately think about 10 million. Don't do that. Pause. Celebrate. You're in the top 10%. You beat the algorithm that keeps 90% of people broke. That matters. Take a weekend. Take a trip. Mark the moment. You earned it. Second, you recalibrate. $1 million feels like a lot. It's not. Not in terms of true financial freedom. At a 4% withdrawal rate, $1 million generates $40,000 per year. That's not retirement. That's barely middle class in most cities. So you celebrate the milestone, but you stay hungry. You reset the target. 5 million, 10 million. Whatever true freedom looks like for you. Third, you shift from accumulation to optimization. Before $1 million, you're piling up assets. After $1 million, you're making those assets work harder. You're looking at tax efficiency, legal structures, estate planning, asset protection. You're hiring professionals, CPAs, attorneys, financial advisors, not to manage your money, to optimize it. Fourth, you upgrade your proximity again. The people who helped you get to $1 million might not be the people who get you to 10. This doesn't mean abandon them. It means expand. Find mentors who've crossed 10 million. Join masterminds at that level. Get around people playing a bigger game. Fifth, you simplify. Most people who cross $1 million have gotten there by doing a lot. Multiple businesses, multiple investments, multiple projects. Now you consolidate. You focus. You ask which 20% of my activities generate 80% of my wealth. You double down on those. You exit or delegate the rest. Sixth, you institutionalize. You turn yourself into a system. You incorporate. You set up trusts. You build infrastructure. You're not just a person with money anymore. You're a wealth-generating entity. This protects you legally. It optimizes you tax-wise. It positions you for scale. Seventh, you commit to legacy. You're not building for yourself anymore. You're building for impact, for family, for causes you care about. This shift is crucial because it keeps you from plateau. Selfish goals have a ceiling. Service-based goals are limitless. When you're building for others, you never run out of motivation. Let me show you what this looks like in real time. There's a woman who crossed $1 million at 38. Real estate investor. 5 properties, all rented, plus a consulting business, plus stock portfolio. Total net worth, $1.2 million. She followed the 7-figure protocol exactly. Celebrated by taking her family to Europe for 2 weeks. First real vacation in 5 years. Came back and recalibrated. Set new target, 5 million by 45. Shifted to optimization. Hired a CPA who found 70,000 in missed deductions. Restructured everything into an LLC and an S-Corp. Saved 30,000 per year in taxes. Upgraded proximity. Left her local real estate group. Joined a national mastermind. Met investors doing 50 million in volume. Learned strategies she'd never heard of. Simplified. Realized her consulting business was taking 40% of her time but generating 20% of her income. Sold it. Used proceeds to buy 2 more properties. Institutionalized. Set up a trust for her kids. Created a foundation for her giving. Committed to legacy. Started mentoring 3 young investors for free. Taught them her entire system. 3 years later, at 41, her net worth was 3.8 million. On track to hit 5 by 43. The 7-figure protocol worked because she followed it precisely. Now let's talk about the wealth spiral versus the poverty spiral, because these are the 2 paths. Everyone is on one or the other. There's no neutral. You're either spiraling up or spiraling down. The poverty spiral looks like this. Scarcity thinking leads to fear-based decisions. Fear-based decisions lead to missed opportunities. Missed opportunities lead to stagnation. Stagnation leads to more scarcity thinking. The loop tightens. Every cycle makes it worse. This is how people stay broke for decades. They're stuck in the spiral. The wealth spiral looks like this. Abundance thinking leads to growth-based decisions. Growth-based decisions lead to captured opportunities. Captured opportunities lead to momentum. Momentum leads to more abundance thinking. The loop expands. Every cycle makes it better. This is how people get rich and stay rich. They're riding the spiral. The difference between the two spirals? The algorithm. The algorithm is the exit ramp from poverty spiral and the on-ramp to wealth spiral. Once you're on the wealth spiral, you don't have to pedal as hard. The momentum carries you, but you have to stay on it. You can't coast. Coasting puts you back in poverty spiral. Even if you have money. Plenty of rich people are in poverty spiral mentally. That's why they lose it. Here's how to stay in wealth spiral permanently. Daily inputs, morning protocol, identity sentences, wealth building time blocks, weekly outputs, review your wins, track your metrics, adjust your strategy, monthly check-ins, net worth, income streams, time allocation, quarterly deep dives, what worked, what didn't, what's next, annual overhauls, big picture reassessment, goal setting, network upgrade. These rituals keep you in wealth spiral. They prevent drift. They maintain momentum. Most people do them for 90 days, then stop and wonder why they plateau. The algorithm isn't a sprint. It's a lifestyle. You install it and you maintain it forever. Let me tell you about the 3-generation test. There's a saying, first generation builds it, second generation maintains it, third generation loses it. This is true for most family wealth. Why? Because the first generation installed the algorithm. They lived it. They breathed it. The second generation saw it modeled. They inherited the behaviors. They maintained the wealth. The third generation only inherited the money. Not the mindset. Not the algorithm. So they spend it, lose it, squander it. Within 3 generations, 90% of family wealth disappears. But not all families. Some maintain wealth for 5 generations, 10 generations, 100 years, 200 years. What's the difference? They passed down the algorithm. Not just the money. They taught the mindset, the principles, the daily practices, the 7 steps. Every generation installed it themselves. That's how you beat the 3-generation curse. You don't just give your kids money. You give them the algorithm. You make them run the 90-day protocol. You watch them build their first income stream. You see them fail and recover. You ensure they internalize it. Then the wealth doesn't disappear. It multiplies, generation after generation. Now let's talk about the dark night of the algorithm. Because it's coming. Somewhere between month 6 and month 18, you're going to hit a wall. Everything you've built will feel meaningless. You'll look at your income streams and think, is this it? You'll look at your net worth and think, I'm not moving fast enough. You'll look at your daily practices and think, I'm tired of this. This is the dark night. It hits everyone. The strivers, the builders, the ones who actually do the work. And it's dangerous, because this is when most people quit. They've done everything right. They've installed the algorithm. They've seen results, but the results aren't dramatic enough. They're not a millionaire yet. They're not financially free yet, so they think it's not working. They abandon the protocol. They stop the morning ritual. They skip the quarterly reviews. They drift back into old patterns. And within 6 months, they're back where they started. Don't do this. The dark night is a test. It's your brain's last-ditch effort to pull you back to comfort, to safety, to the known. It's saying, this is too hard. You can't sustain this. You're not special enough. It's lying. Here's how you survive the dark night. First, expect it. Know it's coming. When it hits, you won't be surprised. You'll say, oh, this is the dark night everyone talks about. That recognition alone reduces its power. Second, don't make any major decisions during it. Don't quit your business. Don't fire your team. Don't abandon your investments. Ride it out. The dark night lasts 2 to 8 weeks. Wait it out. Third, lean on your proximity network. Talk to your mentor, your mastermind, your accountability partner. Tell them you're in the dark night. They've been there. They'll remind you it passes. Fourth, go back to basics. Recommit to the morning protocol, the breathing, the identity sentences, the mantras. These are your anchor. When everything feels shaky, they ground you. Fifth, review your evidence. Look at where you were 6 months ago, 12 months ago. Compared to now, the progress is real, even if it doesn't feel dramatic. You're not where you want to be yet, but you're not where you were. That's proof. Sixth, zoom out. Remember the long game. You're not building overnight wealth. You're building generational wealth. You're installing an algorithm that runs for 50 years. This moment, this doubt, it's a blip. Seventh, make one tiny move forward. Don't try to do everything. Just do one thing, one customer, one investment, one connection, one step. Momentum breaks the dark night. You don't think your way out. You act your way out. There's a man who hit the dark night at month 11. He'd built his side business to $6,000 per month. He'd invested $40,000. He'd upgraded his network. He'd done everything right. But he was exhausted. He looked at the $6,000 and thought, I'm making more at my day job. What's the point? He wanted to quit. Instead, he called his mentor. His mentor said, I felt the same way at month 10. Keep going. He went back to the morning protocol. He reviewed his progress. 11 months ago, he had one income stream and 0 investments. Now he had 3 income streams and $40,000 invested. He was trending up. He made one tiny move. He reached out to one client, closed a $5,000 deal. The momentum shifted. The dark night lifted. 3 months later, his side income hit $10,000 per month. 6 months later, $15,000. He quit his day job at month 18. If he'd quit at month 11, none of that would have happened. The dark night almost won, but he survived it, and everything changed. Now let's install the final piece. The abundance algorithm isn't just about money. It's about everything. Relationships, health, time, freedom, impact. Once you see the pattern, you can apply it to any area. The 7 steps work for fitness. See the gap. You're out of shape. Ask who pays. You pay in energy, confidence, health. Reverse engineer value. What's the minimum to get results? Build the minimum bridge. 3 workouts per week, 30 minutes each. Test with speed. Try for 30 days. Stack the win. Add nutrition. Add sleep. Repeat with pattern recognition. Apply same discipline to other health areas. The 7 steps work for relationships. See the gap. You're disconnected from people you care about. Ask who pays. Everyone pays in loneliness and missed connection. Reverse engineer value. What's the minimum to rebuild? Build the minimum bridge. 1 text per week, 1 call per month, 1 visit per quarter. Test with speed. Do it for 90 days. Stack the win. Add depth to conversations. Add new relationships. Repeat with pattern recognition. Apply same intentionality to all relationships. The algorithm is universal. It's a mental framework, a way of thinking. Once you install it for wealth, it bleeds into everything. You start seeing gaps everywhere. You start reverse engineering solutions. You start testing fast. You start stacking wins. Your entire life becomes a wealth spiral. Not just your bank account, your health, your relationships, your time, your impact. Everything compounds. This is the final form of the algorithm. When it's not something you do, it's something you are. You're a person who sees opportunities, who creates value, who builds systems, who compounds wins, who thinks in multiplication. This identity shift is permanent. Once you cross that threshold, you can't go back. You can't unsee the gaps. You can't unlearn the pattern. You're changed, and that change is worth more than any bank account, because it's the source. The bank account is just the result. Let's do one final breath practice together. This is your integration breath. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out through your mouth for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do this 3 more times at your own pace. As you breathe, feel everything you've absorbed. The scarcity awareness, the 7-step algorithm, the inevitability framework, the value equation, the proximity principle, the failure protocol, the time mastery, the identity shift, the ecosystem building, the generosity principle, the maintenance rituals, the 90-day implementation, the relapse prevention, the scaling strategies, the legacy mindset. All of it is inside you now, not as information, as transformation. You're not the same person who started this book. You've been rewired. The algorithm is installed. Open your eyes. Here's what you do next. You don't finish this book and move on to the next thing. You don't add this to your list of things you'll do someday. You act right now, this moment, before you stand up, before you switch tasks. You take one action. Pull out your phone. Open your banking app. Set up an auto transfer. $10, $50, whatever amount you can swing, from checking to savings or investment account. Schedule it for your next payday. That's action 1. Now action 2. Open your notes app. Write 1 sentence. Today I begin building wealth. That's your first identity declaration. Say it out loud. Action 3. Set a calendar reminder. Tomorrow morning, 30 minutes before your usual wake-up time. Label it morning protocol. When it goes off tomorrow, you'll do the breathing. The identity sentences, the gap documentation. That's day one. You've started. You're in motion. The algorithm is running. Everything else follows from these 3 actions. The auto transfer creates the investment habit. The identity declaration shifts your self-image. The morning protocol installs the daily practice. 3 actions, 5 minutes total. But they're the seed, the tiny hinge that swings the massive door. This is how it starts. Not with a dramatic life overhaul, not with quitting your job or making a huge bet. With 3 micro actions that signal to your brain, we're doing this. We're building wealth now, not someday, now. And once that signal is sent, your brain starts looking for the next step. And the next, and the algorithm unfolds. Automatically, naturally, inevitably. You have everything you need. The knowledge, the framework, the protocols, the challenges, the examples, the warnings, the encouragement. You have it all. The only variable left is you. Will you run the algorithm? Will you do the morning protocol? Will you complete the 90 days? Will you survive the dark night? Will you stay in the wealth spiral? Will you build the ecosystem? Will you install the algorithm so deeply that it becomes who you are? These aren't rhetorical questions. They're real, and your answers will determine your financial life. Not your circumstances, not your background, not your age or education or connections. Your decision, to run the algorithm or not. That's the only thing that matters. I want to leave you with one final truth. The abundance algorithm isn't new. It's ancient. It's been running in successful people for thousands of years. Merchants, builders, investors, entrepreneurs. They all ran the same pattern. See value gaps, build solutions, test fast, stack wins, compound results. The only thing that's changed is the language, the framework, the codification. But the algorithm itself, it's timeless. It worked in ancient Rome. It worked during the Industrial Revolution. It works today, and it will work 50 years from now. Because it's based on human psychology, economics, value exchange. These fundamentals don't change. Technology changes. Industries change. But the algorithm, it's constant, which means you can trust it. You can bet your life on it, because millions of people already have. And it worked. It will work for you too, if you run it. So here's my final challenge to you. Prove me wrong. Take everything in this book and test it. Run the 90-day protocol. Track your results. If at the end of 90 days you're not measurably better off, if your net worth hasn't moved, if your income hasn't increased, if your mindset hasn't shifted, then the algorithm failed. But I've never seen that happen, not once. Everyone who runs the algorithm for 90 days sees results. Not always dramatic, not always life-changing, but measurable, undeniable. A few $1,000s in new income, a few thousand added to investments, new relationships, new skills, new momentum. The algorithm works. Every single time. The only question is whether you'll work it, whether you'll show up, whether you'll push through the resistance, whether you'll stay in motion. That's on you. The algorithm is here, ready, waiting. Will you run it? The abundance algorithm is yours now. Not in theory, in practice. You know the 7 steps. You know the daily protocol. You know the 90-day implementation. You know the relapse prevention. You know the scaling strategies. You know the long game. You know everything. There's nothing left to learn. Only to do, so go do it. Build your wealth. Build your freedom. Build your legacy. The algorithm is running in Millionaires right now. While you're reading this, join them. Install the algorithm. Run it daily. Watch your life transform. This is your moment. Your inflection point. The decision you make right now will echo for decades. Choose wealth. Choose agency. Choose abundance. Choose the algorithm and never look back. Your future is waiting. Go build it.